the pandemic had so much to, like, the pandemic, bro. The pandemic. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So I know I look busted right now, but whatever. so much to talk about. So let's jump into it. So initially when I started my YouTube channel, I wanted to be able to talk about my journey in starting my mobile boutique, which was known as Boy Crazy. It was an all boys clothing boutique from preemie up to age 12, and I started it at the end of 2019. I had just graduated with my bachelor's, and I got my LLC. I was super excited, and I purchased a trailer because I was gonna do like pop-up. Y'all probably hear the dog. We have a dog in the cage and he's licking himself ill. But I purchased the trailer because I had intended to do pop-ups. I didn't want to have a brick and mortar because I wanted to eliminate the overhead costs, right? So I had started purchasing items like inventory from vendors and building connections with the vendors, and I was super excited. I was updating my website with all the inventory that I had received and ordered, and then I was scheduled to launch January 1st, 2020, and I was super excited. And then COVID, the pandemic, happened. So everything went downhill. Like, pretty much the world shut down, and so all the pop-ups that I had planned on attending weren't able, you know, to go about that because they had restrictions. And some of the people that, like, some of the areas, like some of the places in our area that usually had pop-ups or like flea markets and stuff, they weren't even operating because they were all scared, because again, it was the beginning of the pandemic. So then I was like, wow, okay. Kind of paused for a moment, and so I was getting discouraged. I was already nervous because this was like my first business. Like, I was already nervous as it is, and now we have a whole pandemic and I can't even do what I want to do, you know, intended to do pop-ups or whatever. And so I believe I had my first pop-up in March. I believe it was in March at a flea market, and you know, that kind of helped me figure out who my target audience was and what they were interested in seeing from my boutique. And everyone was like, "Ooh, do you have any girl clothes? You should have girl clothes." The purpose of me having an all-boy boutique is because there weren't many options to choose from when I went to department stores. You see all these aisles for girls and you only see one or two aisles for boys. That's it. So I wanted to be able to give a variety. So with that, you know, I did continue to order merchandise and everything, and then as I was looking for specific items for boys, because I have a son, so I was basing off what I usually look for, and I was like, oh, I need to find some jeans. And I was like, oh, it's very difficult trying to find boy jeans, especially in the US. I did find a vendor all the way in Italy, and they weren't sure of how to send it to the US because I would have been their first US customer, which would have been nice. And their jeans looked really nice because the ones here from my vendors, they were elastic waist, and I'm like, what 12 or 13-year-old do you see wearing elastic waist jeans? Now, even though some of my items, like, even though I had an all-boy boutique, some of my items were unisex. So like the jeans, they could be unisex. Some of my jackets, they were unisex. So when people were saying, well, why you don't have girl stuff, da 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 da, it's an all-boy boutique. But I did get discouraged a couple of times. So when I was looking for vendors for specific items, that discouraged me. The pandemic discouraged me. I feel like I'm rambling all, but you all get what I'm saying. And so then I was like, okay, maybe flea markets are not the right route. So that was my first flea market pop-up. And then I went to another flea market in a different city and trying to test it out. And people were like trying to, you know, they thought it was an auction, like, I'll give you this for it. No, baby, these are brand new items, like never won before. You know, they frowned up the face and stuff. And so I was like, clearly flea markets are not the right way to go. You know, I later discovered that flea markets should be for when I'm trying to get rid of the inventory, like when a new season is coming up and I'm trying to order more stuff and need to get rid of the old. That's what the flea market should be for in regards to my boutique. Another thing that discouraged me, I guess that's what we're talking about now. Another thing that discouraged me was trying to, you know, branch out. I'm not much of a talker if I don't know you. But once I know you, I won't shut up. But I understand networking is key, and that's where I kind of sort of shied off of or whatever. I think I'm doing a little bit better now. But yeah, so initially when I started the channel, that's what I wanted to talk about, because everyone was always reaching out to me asking me, well, what route did you take to get your LLC? How did you go about locating your vendors and blah 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 blah. And so people would actually pay me to talk about that stuff, and I'm like, really? Like, have you not heard of YouTube? But I was like, no. At first I was like, no, you don't have to pay me, like, no. And so I started creating videos, which you probably seen like the beginning stages of my YouTube journey. And then I started like, maybe this can be something on the side, because the pandemic was here and restaurants and stuff were closed, so really wasn't able to get out and do pop-ups like I wanted to. So I had all this inventory, nowhere to like broadcast it. It was just sitting there inside my trailer, and I had, you know, styled my trailer. I'll pin either right here or right here. You can click on it after you watch this video. And I had, you know, designed the inside of my trailer and everything. So literally everything stopped. Like the last video that I have of doing my trailer, I believe I was putting a cash stand in there. I never got to use that. So I never even finished designing the cash stand because COVID hit, and I was like, it's pointless. I never put the logo on the trailer because it's pointless. And I got discouraged because I'm like, I'm not able to do pop-ups. Like, the pandemic is here. So I did attend like 3 pop-ups, and surprisingly they were all successful. I did a video of me getting ready for like my first real pop-up, and that was successful. Like, I made more than my fee, because usually at pop-ups you have to pay a fee to be at the pop-up. So I made my money back plus more, so I profited, which was, you know, a very shocker to me, because I'm like, everybody had their nose turned up when I said I had an all boys boutique. But what's funny is when I mentioned that I was going to have an all boys boutique, everybody was like, oh, I can't wait, yes, we need to have more, da 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 da. Then I'm like, hey, we're open. It was like crickets, you know. So that discouraged me. I'm like, well, y'all was just so happy last month when I announced this, and now I've launched, and now where y'all at? But that's fine, no biggie. And although the pandemic happened, I did learn a lot as I was going through my business or whatever. I learned a lot about myself too. I learned a new skill that I had. With that being said, when people were reaching out to me asking for advice of how to locate vendors and blah 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 blah, people were actually wanting to like take a moment of my time to have me explain to them in detail the steps that I took to get my LLC, how do I locate vendors, what do they need, what are they looking for, how do you pay yourself, how should I budget my business, and all this stuff. And so I had to research, you know, in depth, because first it was just for me, but I'm like, this is someone else trusting my word on what I'm saying, so I need to make sure that I understand what I'm saying and that they understand me too. And so that led me to like, okay, well, let me go ahead and research this, and you know, we can do like a 30-minute, you know, consultation or whatever, and we'll go all over it, and then at the end I prepare you like a whole spiel of what we talked about, and we'll go from there. And so at first, you know, I was offering free 30-minute consultations, and after like my first one, she was like my first person that signed up, and she was like, no, I'm gonna pay you. And I was like, no, the first one is free. If you want a second one, that's when you have to pay. I said, but I really haven't even gotten into that, because I don't even know how much I will charge based on what you wanting information on. And she was like, no, I'm gonna pay you, and then I'm gonna sign up for the next one. Hold on, y'all, my camera's about to die. All right, take 2. So she was like, oh my gosh, this piece of hair, y'all, bear with me, it's the struggle. I just dropped my son off to school, so it just be those mornings, okay? So yeah, she said she was gonna pay me, and she was gonna sign up for another session, and I was just like, oh, I don't even know what I'm gonna charge. I don't even know, you know, what, if it should just be on based on what you're wanting to know information about, like you might have to go through detail or show you things or whatever, because I didn't know. And so I just pretty much told her that no, you don't have to pay me. She ended up, you know, sending me an amount, and then she was like, and then next time you just let me know what the fee is going to be for the next session. And I was just like, okay. At the end of every session, I sent a recap to each client, you know, asking them, please leave a review. And you know, it wasn't just like, did you enjoy? Yes. Was it helpful? Yes. Would you recommend? Yes. No. It wasn't like that. Like, I needed sentences of, what did you enjoy most? What could have been better? Would you recommend me? Is it okay if I, you know, it was like 5 or 6 questions or whatever. And then I ended up posting it onto my website for other people to see. Oh, she actually has reviews, because people look for reviews like me. If you're not, sorry. But anyway, so, ooh, I'm parched. Okay. My Boy Boutique webpage, I did have like an about me and an about us section, and then it'll have like my face, you know, the face behind the brand. And then it ventured off to, if you're interested in starting your own boutique or need assistance, reach out and blah, 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 blah. And then that kind of started on how I'm going about now. So after about 6 months in the business, I was just like, you know, kind of not feeling the Boy Boutique right now. Like, I had all this inventory, nowhere to put it. No one wanted to buy it, but I was giving advice on like where to purchase vendors from, how to find them, what they ask for, what to be on the lookout for suspicions wise when people be like, hey, I have a vendors list and blah 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 blah. You know, things like that that I noticed, and I would always let them know this is based on my experience, you know, be on the lookout and blah blah blah. And anytime something came up, I made sure that I wrote it down, so if someone came to ask me, I was like, oh yeah, I had this happen to me, so you won't be a victim and get scammed. Just be on the lookout for this. And I found that extremely helpful, you know. So, you know, things like that. And I was like, well, I really do like helping other people, and you know, I'm actually making money. Why not just go ahead and do on this? And plus, you know, I went to school for business administration as well as marketing, so I'm like, this is pretty much right down your alley, girl. Why not just go on, hop on it? So that's what I started doing. So I started advertising on my personal page about, you know, consultations or whatever. And I think I made my last post on the Boy Crazy page in the spring. Like I said, I was preparing for fall arrivals, and I hadn't even looked for no fall arrivals. Like, I was already out of it, which is a bad thing because it was my passion and I should have went back to my why. But the pandemic had so much to, like, the pandemic, bro, the pandemic. So that discouraged the mess out of me. So then when I was thinking about, I was like, okay, maybe I'll just pause and I'll come back to it. So while I was on that pause hiatus, you know, I was still doing my consultation things or whatever. And I had a friend of mine, she was expecting her first boy, and she was giving me ideas, and I was just like, oh wow, I hadn't thought about that. And I was like, wow. And I felt like a spark just burst inside of me, and I was excited again. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting that feeling of how I was when I first got the idea of starting an all-boy boutique. And I was like, maybe this is the thrill that I needed. Like, I'm excited again. And then, like, after about 30 minutes I thought about it, the flame went out. I was like, no, I'm just gonna do this. So I ended up doing that event, you know, for her. And she was like, you know, just think about it. I have some other moms who are interested. If you want, I can give them your contact information and you can go from there. I mean, she already had people lined up wanting to do it, and I'm just like, my heart is just not in it. Like, I don't like to do things just for the money. Like, money is good, trust me, but if my heart is not in it, I'm not gonna be in it. And I don't like faking stuff. I can't fake the funk. So it was a baby shower auction, and it was very, very unique. Very unique. Like, when I tell you, she is like, just, if I could just have a pinch of her brain, I would be able to conquer the world. Just this much from her brain, I would be able to conquer the world. But yeah, she did, you know, give me a spark back into my business for 30 minutes. And then after, I was just like, no, let's not get excited, because I was getting excited again. And I figured out what my main issue was. I was ordering too much inventory, and I didn't know who I was ordering the inventory for. So that's why, that was another reason, you know. All these little nuggets are just going to be scattered all throughout this video. At this point, I'm just rambling. Anyway, so yeah, I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about my business, and I learned from my mistakes. Even when I watched YouTube videos before I started pursuing my business, because I said I don't want to make the same mistakes that they said don't make. So I ended up going deeper down the rabbit hole, and I still ended up making those same mistakes. Like, I watch videos all day long of not ordering too much inventory. Don't purchase inventory just based on what you like. And that was me. Like, I had all these totes of stuff for stuff that I like, and nobody was buying, because like, do you have this? I would like this better. Like, oh, and then another thing, the vendors, like, I don't know what it is with boys and dinosaurs, but every vendor that I looked for, they had dinosaurs. And I'm like, not all boys like dinosaurs. Like, I'm tired of seeing shirts with dinosaurs on them. Come on now. Or little Tonka trucks. It was just so many of the same things that each vendor had. And I'm like, why do I have all these vendors and y'all have all the same things? Like, similarities. I need something that's different, you know? So then I started going a different route. I started actually focusing more on my personal brand than the boutique. Now the trailer is just a trailer. I still have the trailer. I don't plan on getting rid of the trailer. But yeah, I am thinking of, you know, being more focused in my personal brand. So I have also designed a, let me get it. I have created my own planner. It's called Print, Pray, Plan. And it's durable. You know, it's a 12-month undated planner. And I am a planner person. So initially when I started, you know, the consultations, I would take little notes down of what each person asked me about. And I was like, well, they all have similarities and everything is pretty much the same question, just worded differently. So I was like, why don't I just try to create a planner? So along with venturing to my personal brand, I also have sweatshirts on my website as well, and I have my books on my website. My books are also on Amazon, but you can order them from my website. So pretty much the purpose of this video is just to say I'm not doing my boutique anymore. All that in a nutshell is just not giving what it was supposed to give. But I am thankful of the opportunity that I gave myself and that was presented to me, because it allowed me to see exactly what I wanted to do. I always believe that sometimes you have to do one thing to see that you might like something else. And so I'm just seeing it as a learning experience. Like, I needed to go down that journey so I can discover another path is better for me. And really, my personal brand, I really feel like I like that better than the boy boutique. Maybe, you know, down the line, once I get my target audience, maybe I might venture back out to it and they're like, oh, I have a boy too, you know, and then there'll also be a customer for that. But right now, I feel like my personal brand is much better. But yeah, that's all this video was for. I was going to do like a hair review because I had ordered, I love wigs. I had ordered a wig from Gorgius. Look at this gorgeous box, you know. And this is kind of extra, but my channel is about, you know, lifestyle, entrepreneurship, lifestyle. I love my wigs. So real quick, this is not no paid advertisement, but look at this bag. Isn't it gorgeous? And then it came with this little cute hologram pouch, and it has bobby pins, a couple of clips, edge brush for my edges, and I ain't gonna lay down, an extra elastic band, and some tweezers, and I hope they're the good tweezers if y'all know what I'm talking about. Almost got a comb at the end of it too. Oh, goodness. And then it also came with 2 nude wig caps and 2 pair of earrings. Okay, let's get into this wig real fast, and then I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video. But she looks a little wiggy right now, but I just want to show y'all the coils in this puppy. Like, if I could wash my hair and get my hair like this, like, because when I wash my hair is just so puffy. But look at these. The curl pattern is beautiful. But yeah, I put the link down below if y'all want to order the wig. Yeah, let me know what y'all want to see. Like, y'all want to see me put the wig on, or like, do you want to ask questions about business stuff or whatever? My channel is pretty much lifestyle, entrepreneurship, you know. All I had to talk about. Y'all follow me on Instagram. I am Brianna Ward. Talk to me, I talk back. Don't be a stranger. To all my subscribers, thank y'all for subscribing and sticking out with the girl, because I know I have been, you know, straddling. But every time y'all comment, I do comment back, and I, you know, love the comment or whatever. So thank y'all for sticking it out. To my new subscribers, hey girl, hey boy, hey. We just gonna have fun. And my next video, I might let y'all know what else I'm doing on the side, outside of working. Okay, because I talk too much when I, you know, anyway. Y'all let me know what y'all want to see more on my channel. Thank y'all for watching. I hope to see y'all again soon. And peace, blessings, hair grease.